All right, so we have just done an overview of the 10 principles of the facilitator's methodology. Okay? What we're going to do over the next couple of days is take each one of these 10 principles, one at a time, break them apart, look at them, explore, discover, practice, basically do whatever it takes to load up your toolbox with all sorts of facilitation tools that you'll be able to use immediately. I'm talking next week when you have your next facilitation, you're going to use some of these tools and be successful at it. Sound good? All right. Normally, you would think, let's start with number 1 and move to number 10. Well, I'm not the most normal person in the world. I want to start with principle number 5. And here's why. Principle number 5 is all about asking questions. We as facilitators are all about asking questions, right? In fact, my kids think it's just hilarious that there are organizations out there that are willing to pay me money to come in and ask questions that I don't even know the answers to. It's just such a concept to them. Anyways, it's all about questions, right? And the better the questions we ask, the better the answers we're going to get. The better the answers we get, the better the end result to the facilitated session. Am I right? Yeah. So it goes back to these questions, and what I want to do is give you some tips, some tools, some techniques that will help you to ask the great questions that get the great answers that lead to the great results and ultimately lead to referrals and repeat business, right? So you'll also find as we go to the other 9 principles over the next couple of days, each one of them, to one degree or another, depends on how well you ask questions. So what I want to do is load you up now with those skills on asking questions so that when we move to the other 9 principles, you're going to go to them with much more confidence, building on some of the foundations you've already strengthened today. Right? Oh, sound good? Yeah. All right. I'm going to pick on Christy for a minute, my fellow Buckeye. Yeah. Fellow Buckeye. Where do you live in Ohio?
North of Dayton.
What's the city?
New Bremen, Ohio.
New Bremen?
Yes.
New Bremen, Ohio. Population 3,000, right? Yes. And New Bremen, Ohio has a school district, does it not?
Yes.
What's the name of the school district?
New Bremen.
New Bremen Schools. Great. What I'd like you all to do is pretend for a minute that New Bremen Schools has come to you and said, we'd like to hire you as a facilitator. What we'd like you to do is work with some of our registrars and help them come up with a different process for doing the scheduling. First of all, how many of you would be interested in such a job? Okay, you guys noting who's raising their hands? Okay, good. Okay, fast forward. You're in the session. You've gone through the introductory work. Everything's ready to go. You're about to start the conversation. You're going to lead off with a starting question, right? You want to get the conversation going. What I'm going to do is put a couple of questions up on the board here, and after we've had a chance to read them out loud, I'm going to ask you, which one do you prefer? Okay? So here are the 2 questions. Kathleen, would you ask the question type A for us?
The first thing we want to talk about are inputs. What are the inputs to the scheduling process?
Thank you. And Dottie, would you take the second one?
Sure. Question type B. If you were about to develop the school schedule, what is the information you would need to have close by?
All right. First, just a gut reaction. Who prefers question A? Hands high. I don't see any hands. How about question B? Who prefers question A? Oh, everybody's got their hands up. Wow. Okay, it's unanimous at this point. I would say, though, that questions A and question B both have merit, don't they? Let's explore that a little bit. What are some of the merits that you see in question A, even though it wasn't your favorite?
It nets it right out.
It nets it right out. What about it nets it right out for you, Richard?
It just gets down and dirty and asks me the question you want the answer to.
It's very direct, isn't it? Thank you. Yes, Leah.
It's the first thing we want to know, so I know that if I have other things, there's going to be other questions.
So the first thing we want to know, and what tells you that it's the first thing?
It says the first thing.
Okay, yeah. It says it right here. It goes back to Richard's comment, doesn't it? It's very direct. We know exactly where we're at, what we're going to do, how we're going to follow. Yes, sir? It's not image. And that's what makes it good?
No, that's what makes it bad.
That's what makes it bad. Okay, hold that thought for me, okay? Hold that thought for me. Christy, did you have your? I thought I saw a hand over here.
I was just going to say it's very simple.
It's very simple. Great. And what about question B? What are the merits of question B for you? And now I'm going to go over here And I don't know your name, I'm sorry. Van? Van, you made a comment earlier about image building. I think that you were alluding to question B. Tell me more about that, please. Yes, please. Very image building. And when you say very image building, what do you mean by the word image building?
Well, what I mean by that is it gets you to think before the question.
Okay. What about that question got you thinking, Van?
Well, if I were to think about developing a school schedule, what information do I need to think about to close that?
Okay. Great, thank you. Dottie?
It actually put me at my desk. You know, I was able to visualize myself at
Uh-huh.
my desk and thinking about things that were near me.
And having that visual helped you, didn't it? Yeah, thank you. Katie? It's It's not written technically. Easy to answer. Okay? Great. One more. Kathleen?
Visualize the experience. Need to have close by as an experience.
Helps you visualize the experience? And then say the other part again, please. I missed it.
The words need to have close by or an experiential kinesthetic phrase.
Okay. So these words especially spoke to you. Great. Thank you. I want to drive this point home for you with a quick exercise. What I'd like you to do is close your eyes, please. Close your eyes. Put your Visa cards on the table. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Smart found out part of the. Close your eyes. I want you to imagine that you're the registrar. You're sitting in a room, much like this room. There's a facilitator out front, much like there is in this room. You're about to do a session. He asks the question. I don't want you to answer this question. Just observe your reaction to it, please. The first thing we want to talk about are inputs. What are the inputs to the scheduling process? Okay, go ahead and open your eyes. What was your reaction to that question? Christy?
I was visualizing computer printouts. Like,
Computer printouts.
yeah, right.
Okay. Was that helpful for you?
No.
No. Okay. Kathleen?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Nothing came to mind. There's a blank. Wow. Dottie, you had the same experience?
Blank sheet of paper.
Wow. Delia.
What came to my mind, and it was the word,
A stupor.
I was focused right on the front end of the process.
The front end of the process. Interesting. Kathleen, and then we'll move on.
I heard a thud.
You heard a thud. Wow. Yeah, Sheree? Input. The word inputs got in the way for you. Okay, let's do this again. Close your eyes. Back in that room with your fellow registrars. Facilitator up front, about to ask a question, and this time he says, if you were about to develop the school schedule, what is the information you would need to have close by? All right, go ahead and open your eyes. What was your reaction to the question this time? Red team.
Started thinking about what those items would be. I could actually see them and not just that blank.
Okay. Was that helpful to you?
Very.
How so?
It gave me an image.
Gave you an image.
Put myself in that spot.
Okay, and what would that image do for you then?
Allow me to almost picture what those things are that I
Oh, interesting, interesting. Others, Charlene.
Pictured my desk with different pieces of paper on it and what they said, and I was moving them
Yeah.
in a certain
You're actually starting the job, weren't you? Workaholic here. Any other reactions to this one? Yeah, Kathleen.
I just found it to be the opposite of the other. My mind was full
Interesting.
of ideas, and I could see not just where I am, but what my next step is going to be.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, Christy?
I actually started to visualize the school calendar, the book of classes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, these two questions actually represent two types of questions. And Leadership Strategies, in its infinite wisdom and cleverness, has labeled them Type A and Type B. Okay? Real easy to remember. Type A questions and Type B questions. Type A questions are those questions that get at what the facilitator needs, which is a legitimate thing, right? In order to help the registrars to do their schedule again, we need to start by getting at what information they need so that we can build a process around that, right? So the simple question is, what are the inputs you need? Straightforward, right? How many of you use these kinds of questions in your facilitating? Several of you. Yeah, I'll tell you, before I took this class, I used it exclusively. Okay, I'm going to move ahead. Let me tell you how to do. Let me tell you how to do the type B questions. Okay, we talked about how the value is that it creates an image. It drives you to the answers, right? Type A questions, you have to work to get to the answers. If we're facilitators, we're supposed to facilitate them to those answers. So let me show you how to do that. There's 3 pieces to a type B question that make it effective. Charlene, will you read the first bolded thing here with the begin?
Begin with an image-building phrase. Think about, imagine, consider. If.
Okay, thank you. So the first part is to start with an image-building phrase. And then, Ginny, will you read the next one, please?
Yes. Extend the image to the answers using 2 phrases.
All right. So starting with an image isn't enough. You need to extend it and extend it to the answer. That's critical. You'll see in a minute. I'll give you an example. Kathleen, read the last one, please.
Ask the direct question, type A, to get the information.
Yay! We get to do the type A question after all, right? You don't lose that. You still get to use it. You just preface it with something else. All right? So with the registrars, let's go back and use this process. Let me demonstrate how it works. I recommend, though, you start as Covey. How many of you are Covey fans in here? Begin with the end in mind. You know that principle, right? Begin with the end in mind. Start here. What's the information we need? We need to know what the registrars use, what data they use. So this type A question could be what? Blue group. Give me a type A question for this example.
What data do you use to create the schedule?
Great, thanks, Dottie. What data do you use to create the schedule? Now let's go back. Begin with an image building. I'm going to start by putting them back in their office. Maybe I'll start with, remember the last time you did the schedule? I've got you going there already, haven't I? Now if I said, remember the last time you did the schedule? What's the data you need? It's a little bit jarring, isn't it? You're not ready to go there. So that's what the middle part is for. Let's extend the image to the answers. Remember the last time you did the schedule? You were sitting in your office. It was summer, so it was hot. You had stacks of paper around you, umpteen windows open on your screen, right? All ready to go. What is the data that you needed? Now where are you? I brought you there. Yeah, I brought you there. You're sweating. It's Ohio, in the middle of summer. Yeah. So let's do a couple of practices with this one. Let's do number 2, the red group. Somebody in this group, please give me a type A question. Remember, we're going to start. And put these back up here. Here's the model we're following. Let's start down here. It's a type A question that you could use for steps in the hiring process. Joseph.
What are the steps in the hiring process?
Beautiful. Isn't that great? These are so easy. We love them. They're easy. So what are the steps in the hiring process? Thank you. I'd like you to remember those words because I'm going to ask you to say it again in a minute, okay? Somebody else from the group. What might be a way to begin the image to get us towards that type A question? Please, Gail.
Imagine you're looking to hire someone.
Okay, imagine you're looking to hire someone. I love the way you stopped off before you went any further. That's the image building phrase to start it. Thanks, Gail. And I want you to remember those words, okay? Someone else at the table. Take us home. Take us from Gail's imagine statement to Joseph's type A question that gets us what we want.
So imagine that you're in this position of hiring someone, and you're looking the candidate in the eye, and you're ready to go through that process. What are those steps that you need in order to hire that person?
Okay, what do you think? Did we get it? We've got this type A. Imagine. Say it again, please. Just your part.
Imagine you're about to hire someone.
Okay, say your card again, please, LaShanya.
Imagine that you're about to hire someone, and you're looking that person in the eye.
Okay. And Joseph?
What are the steps in the hiring process?
Okay, do we go there? We're getting there. Good. Let's try another one. Number 3. Green, right? God, I'm on the green team. Green team. Start us off with a type A question.
What are the problems with the hiring process?
What are the problems with the hiring process? Thank you, Kathleen. Go first, get it out of the way, right? Someone from the green team now.